overseas is what I think generates our economy. So we have to have capital, and that's what this Ryan budget is all about, bringing that, bringing confidence that we're going to balance the budget at some point in time, bringing our gas prices down to where they're acceptable level, and then certainty for businesses so they can operate. And that's a picture of what we'd like to accomplish. You might have some questions, and so I'll see if I can answer them. We've gone over all these things. Put that last slide up again. Keep going. There's one. There's that. Just that. And because I might refer to that. But anyway, does anybody have yes?
The number I read said the war in Afghanistan is costing us about $2 billion a week. What's your position about withdrawing and not at least having that outlay with cash?
I believe that we should have seen our last days there. I do. I think that the tribes and all of the divisions that are there, that are under the government, they don't want us there. But then the president and his leadership team, they don't want us there either.
What was your question?
It was what about the Afghanistan costs money, $2 billion a week. What are we going to do with that? And my position is it's time to leave. I think we're not wanted there. It's hard to help. You ever try to help somebody that doesn't want to be helped? It's kind of hard. My wife will every once in a while say, you know what, you should give this person some advice. And I go, yeah, but they don't want any advice. And I said, the hardest person to give advice to is somebody that doesn't want it. Well, this is even worse. These people do not want us there. And this country doesn't want us there, from the leadership all the way down. So my thought is, time to go. Someone else with a question? Yes.
My name is Walter Nunley. I live here in College Park. Thank you for coming. I read a Wall Street Journal article this morning that said when you go to these town hall meetings, the first one I've been to, you're not to make a statement, you're to ask a question. And I'm going to violate that just a bit, right off the bat. It's not so much a statement, a little background to my question.
Yeah.
And why I'm asking this kind of global question. My background myself is I'm a CPA, a tax attorney, and a tax professor at law school. I've studied tax, U.S. federal tax law for 35 years. And I've come to the conclusion, watching all the legislation, that there's no way we can get out of this exploding deficit problem by increasing taxes, by having the Buffett tax or let the Bush tax cuts expire, that will just be a drop in the bucket. And I've come to the conclusion that the only way we can slow down this fiscal train wreck, and it's not a slow train wreck, I see it as a rapid train wreck, is to get a hold on spending and entitlement spending, and Social Security, Medicare, and of course discretionary spending. And the only real proposal I've seen of that in Congress is the Paul Ryan's plan. And outside of Congress, Simpson-Bowles. Simpson-Bowles' proposal was ignored, completely ignored by President Obama, and it was his commission. The Ryan plan, which I perceive as a profile in courage, has been slammed by the press and slammed by the Parliament. Do you see any realistic chance of momentum gaining for structural change and entitlements, something along the lines of blueprint of the Ryan plan? And over what time period would you think politically, at what point will this country recognize that we have no choice fiscally to do something along those lines?
Well, I felt like there was a teeny tiny move last Tuesday in the Rules Committee. I told you I was questioning Representative Van Hollen, who's a Democrat, very strongly against the Ryan plan. And the last question I asked him was, okay, do you believe that somehow, some way, Social Security Medicare and Medicaid have to be revised and changed? And he said, yes. That's the first time I've ever had him or anybody in leadership of the other side say anything like that. That to me was encouraging, that at least he said yes. That's what the Paul Ryan plan actually only makes recommendations. It does nothing except in discretionary spending in the first year, which would be 2013. What it does do is make a recommendation that in 2022, those who now would be 65 would have no change in Social Security, and no one that's on Social Security now or within that 55 and older range would have anything changed, Medicare or Social Security, nothing ever for their whole life. But those at that particular time, in 2022, would have a change in the type of coverage they would get for Medicare. They could choose Medicare, running like Medicare, or there would be several other options that would be available. It's not a dramatic change, however, it is a change, and so that you would be offered as a retiring senior who was 54 today or younger, a set of different products that they could select, similar to the plans that Congress receives. That gets us started on that green line. You can see it only, I mean, even here, it's only here. It has to carry through, and there's some other recommendations that are made in this budget for these years, but it only gets us to here. But it does make a change. It is a different slope. It's not this slope, it's this slope. So, yes, but there are, I will tell you, I believe that there are opportunities in the area of waste. And I'll tell you why I know that from firsthand experience. There's only a few things that I can do without a majority vote in the House, a 60-vote margin in the Senate, and a signature of the President, just a few. But one of them was the fact that we're given as members of Congress money to operate our office and to hire staff, pay rent here, have a local district office or several, and then have a DC office and buy the furnishings and other things, that the consumables that you use in the regular office. We're given money to do that. And I determined that I don't have to ask anybody whether or not I want to save money there. I could just do it. Didn't have to get a vote in the Senate or the House. So I was able to turn back far more than anybody had done. I don't know ever, but for sure this time, about $500,000 for my little district and DC office. My thought is, if every member did that, every member of Congress, it'd be tens of billions of dollars over a 10-year period. If every agency, budget, bureau, department, whatever, would do that in the executive branch, it would be hundreds of billions of dollars. And I didn't cut any services. I didn't not respond to anybody. I didn't cut back on the serving of this district. It all worked out fine. It's just there were things that I could have all that I did. Now, what causes that? Well, there's this mindset in Washington, and that is, if we have the money, spend it. That's it. So do we ever accrue those kind of savings? Not normally, because if you have it, you spend it. Well, if you spend it, then maybe next year you'll get the same amount or more. And that's the motivation. That's setting. So I know that we have to do something, and so does the Democratic ranking member of the Budget Committee knows. We have to do something about entitlements. And that's going to change that line. But I also know that there is money being spent